All right, welcome to the show, the F5 Report, Tuesday morning, bright and early, beautiful day outside, and I'm hanging out with my buddy Matt Larson today. Matt is all things real estate. If you guys are in the real estate space, Matt will be able to answer some high-level questions for you today. I'm excited to have Matt on the show. Matt Larson, what's up, buddy?
Hey, thanks for having me. Just got to finish a workout, ready to go.
Yeah, man, I love it. I love it. Let's, actually, it just kicks us right off. Let's talk morning routine, right? Because I think with this COVID thing, I've been affected by it. I know a lot of my friends, high-level functioning entrepreneurs, have been affected by it. I mean, dude, I used to get up every day at 4:15, and now I'm struggling 5:30, 6 o'clock. So tell me about your morning routine. What gets you motivated to get going in the morning?
Well, so first of all, I'm an early riser just by now. Ever since I was a little kid, I got up early, but I get up early. I have a trainer. So I have this really badass gym that I built in my house about 3 years ago. It's better than any gym you could go to. So I've got a little bit of an advantage there, but I get up in the morning, typically between 4 and 5 o'clock. And then my trainer gets to my house at 6:30. So because I have the gym at my house, I'm not leaving to go to another. So I bring him to my house. I had to pay him a ton of money to do this, but it's awesome. So he comes to my house and kicks the crap out of me for half an hour, 45 minutes. And then, so what happens is when I first get up in the morning, there's like an hour and a half before he gets to my house. And so during that time, that's my time. Nobody else is up. There's no distractions. And I get out a yellow pad. I'm really big on morning routine. So I get out a yellow pad and I literally write down everything I need to get done for the day. And I'm just one of those guys that loves crossing stuff off a list. So I can't stand to go to bed at night and like, man, I had 10 things written down. I didn't get to this 1-9. I'm going to go do it right now. I just want to cross everything off my list. So I'm a list guy. So I get up in the morning, I make a list for the day. And I don't do this the night before. I know a lot of guys like to do it the night before, but I like to do it the morning of. I like to get up and feel what I feel like doing. But then my schedule is very relaxed because my real estate company, we flip 20 to 30 houses a month. That runs without me. I put less than 5 hours a week in that business. So I have time. But what I found is the more time you have, the worse it is. Like the sloppier you get. So you get sloppy, you get lazy and stuff. So I have to create this routine. So I write down everything I want to get done for the day. Then my trainer shows up. So my game plan's set. Trainer shows up. I work out. Then I eat, and then it's game time. So then we get going. So I typically after my workout, I eat breakfast, and then I email my team what I want them to do. Typically if 10 things are written down on my list, I do none of them most of the time. It's a delegate this, delegate that. This guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. And then I watch, and I require, most of the time, it might be something that they have to have back to me that same day. So at the end of the day, I'm a big process guy. So I'll say, hey, like yesterday, I realized that we didn't have a tight enough process on our maintenance. Like when a maintenance guy is handed a work order. So I have a big property management company. We've managed 1,400 units. And so I noticed that I watch KPIs, and I noticed our average cost per work order had climbed. And I'm like, why is that going on? So I looked in a little deeper and like, hey, we don't have a tight enough process for the work order. So I got one of the things on my list yesterday was I emailed my maintenance coordinator and I said, hey, we need to tighten this up. Our cost per work order's gone up. I want we call it a suite process because we literally use suiteprocess.com to document all of our processes. So I said, send me a new process, step by step by step by step, from the time a guy gets a work order to the time that it's complete. I want to see what we're doing. And here's the cool part. When you create a process and when you create a routine for every single aspect of your business, everything gets better. Because I say this a lot. I didn't coin this term. I read it in a book 10 years ago. I don't even remember who said it, but discretion is the enemy of duplication. And anytime somebody has their own discretion, well, I think I should do it this way, you're automatically losing. You're going down an escalator. You're literally going backwards. So I try to eliminate discretion in my company. Now, there are positions in the company, such as management positions, that need discretion, but I try to systemize every single thing in the business. This is how I've been able to, how we flip 20 to 30 houses a month, and I don't have to be involved. So here's the cool part is when you don't have a written process and somebody doesn't follow it, you yell at them, you scream at them, and at the end of the day, you've gotten nowhere. Okay, it's not their fault. How do they? Well, I told you to do it this way, but it wasn't written. It wasn't something they could pick up and follow. So it's really, you yell and scream, you get frustrated, you add complexity to your life, but at the end, you're no better than what you were. When you have a written process and somebody doesn't follow it, then you literally say, hey, here's the process. It's these 10 steps. You've got to follow it. You didn't follow it. You chose not to follow it. That's a write-up. Next time it happens, I got to let you go. Because it's super simple. All you do is follow the steps. It's not like it's like, hey, I don't know what to do. Like, you know what I mean?
You just said so many things right there. Like, I don't even realize people understand so many. Like, I interview a lot of high functioning, high achieving, goal oriented. And the fact is, like, we all do this. We talk so fast, we don't realize all the gold nuggets that are like falling out of our mouth when it's happening. Like, you just said 5 like crazy things right there, to the point where I had to grab a pen and take notes so that I could repeat them because you were hitting them with so much knowledge at that point. Like, so number one is the list, right? So many people, expect to accomplish things, but they're not setting out what it is they're trying to accomplish, right? So I know that a lot of us, we start out with a list, every morning. What's it look like? For me, I boil it down to the top 3 things that absolutely must get done, and then I do 25 other things on top of that. But so I prioritize. I like the fact that you just create that list, man. But the second piece is, and I think one of the most powerful things that you kind of glazed over, was the delegation, right? Like so many people don't build a team. They don't multiply. They don't figure out who can do the how, like we talk about a lot inside the the DM fam, right? And then, but you not only have taken it to a place of, this is my list that my team needs to accomplish. I love that piece.
Mm-hmm.
When did you get to that? When did that start to happen?
So what I realized is if it's all up to me, 2 things are happening. One is my team's not learning. If I'm the one doing, then they're just following my orders. Then what happens is they're not learning for themselves. Second thing is I'm only one person. If everything to get done in the course of the day relies on me, we're screwed, because I only have 24 hours. But if I pick 10 people on my team to do 10 different topics, then I have 240 hours, right, to get that done. So what I found is if you hire an A player, somebody really somebody just accomplishment based, if you hire somebody like that, there's no capacity limit. There's no amount of, capacity is an attitude, right? You can get we've all done it. Like, we're going to go on vacation, we're leaving out of town, you got to get 10 things done. Those 10 things would normally take you 3 days, but I'm leaving town. If I don't get them done now, I'll be back in 10 days. I got to get them done now. And you can crunch, 3 days of work into 4 or 5 hours if you need to. So capacity is an attitude. So if I surround myself with a bunch of people that can just get a lot of stuff done really fast, and I set the expectation, then things happen. So, I know a lot of the people in the DM fam have reached out to me and said, Larson, dude, you're an implementation monster. And really, that's all. I'm not really doing anything. I'm just taking the idea and handing it to an amazing person on my team. And next thing you know, all this stuff gets done. I'm good at monitoring somebody's, red line. So capacity is an attitude, but in my company, like you've got a rev limiter you're going to be running red line hard for a while, because I push everybody. I expect a lot out of myself, so I expect a lot out of the people working for me. So I can detect when engine overload's going to happen, and I back it down a little bit. And, but what happens is it's like lifting weights. I just told you, I just got done working out. If I went into the gym every single time and lifted, like today I did squats. If I was doing squats with 135 pounds and I'm capable of doing squats with 250 pounds, then I'm not going to get any stronger. I'm going through the motion. I'm doing nothing for myself. The same with your people that you delegate to. You should be pushing them to a higher level all the time. The standard always gets higher. So I give them something to do. And when they get good at it, and they've now absorbed, maybe when they first started a specific task, that task would take them 8 hours, but they've improved. The repetitions they're making fewer unneeded steps, and they're faster, they're typing faster, they're moving stuff around faster, they've got better equipment, better software, they've just improved their self skills. Now they get that done in 5 hours. Well, that doesn't mean that, hey, you just get 3 free hours. Now I'm going to pour more on your plate. And so I'm working their muscles too. And so this keeps them improving all the time as well. And it just grows the organization. It grows profitability. I mean, in the last say 12 months or so, I've removed $200,000 out of my payroll. Just the A players stepped up. They did more. The people that weren't as productive, we didn't need them anymore. They didn't have anything to do. And that 200 grand goes into my pocket, right? And I just divvied out a bunch of big bonuses to all the top players in my team. I mean, several $1,000s per person just 2 weeks ago, out of nowhere. Just, hey guys, we're super profitable and you guys have earned it. This is your money. Here you go.
That's fantastic, man. I was listening to some morning motivations this morning to connect with this thing. And one of the ESPN sportscasters was talking about how high-level achievers, they only like to have conversations with problem solvers, right? And if you're a problem maker, it's not something that you and I, it's not the type of person you and I want to communicate with. So we both built these teams with great A players on there, but I hear all the time, constantly, I'm sure you hear the same thing, Matt, where do you find these A players? Like, they're aliens, like were you getting shipped in from somewhere? Like, how are you finding this team of problem solvers that you're able to delegate to each and every day?
Yeah. So again, yeah, I look for people that remove complexity off my plate. So it's super simple. There's only 2 types of people. A person that adds complexity, and those are the people that discover the problems, and they want to tell you about the problems, but they don't solve the problem. And then there's the people that remove complexity. The people, no matter what you give them, no matter what obstacle hits, they remove the complexity. It's so easy. So here's what we do. Where we find the A players is several different places. One, I'm very, very big into virtual assistants. I love, this whole COVID-19 shelter in place thing. It really, made you work from home. And the cool thing is I've been doing that stuff we didn't shift anything in my company. Honestly, I already used virtual assistants. A lot of people already work from home. So it didn't even affect us. So what I do, virtual assistants, we typically, if I'm looking for a virtual assistant, I go to upwork.com if I'm looking for a part-time or full-time virtual assistant. But the location where you find them isn't where the gold is. It's the filtering process to get to the person, because what happens is a resume is a magic piece of paper that makes everybody look amazing. There's not a single resume on the planet where the guy's like, dude, I'm lazy. I'm not that good. I don't have that many skills. So, but I'm not looking for as much money. That doesn't even exist, right? Everybody's amazing. Everybody can do everything that you could ever dream of. So you have to build systems to filter through those people. So a couple of things we do. One, so we build a resume. We build a job description. Now, what I've done in my company, I used to do this myself. I don't do anything now. I let my team do it, but I had to build a template. So we build a template that basically looks for core values. And what I mean, I look for people, if you want to remove complexity from your life and you're adding people, A players, you have to find people that are super deadline motivated. You have to find people that are detail oriented. They just don't miss the small stuff. You have to find people that have a high sense of urgency, right? That they just get stuff done fast. So we build a template around what we're looking for. Now, that doesn't mean every single person's going to be like, I think I can slide through here. Even though I have a very low sense of urgency, they won't find out until after I'm hired. So what we do next is, once those people send in their resume, and this could be through Upwork, this could be through Indeed.com if you're going to hire a person that's going to be in an actual physical office. And then once they send a resume, the first thing we do is we shoot them back we have them Google. So we don't just give them the test, we have them do work. We say, hey, there's a test, a personality test called the DISC test. And if you Google Tony Robbins DISC test, there's a free version. Go in there, take that test, and send us your results. So the reason I do that, one is I'm giving them directions to see if they can follow the directions. Two, I see how fast they respond. I'm doing a sense of urgency thing immediately. So they just sent a resume, boom, right back. 2 minutes later, we send them that direction. We know that test takes about 20 to 30 minutes to take. Now, if 30 minutes later they send us back, they've proven to us they've got a high sense of urgency and they're deadline motivated. So then we get the results and we look at the results. Now, that every single position in my company on this DISC test, we have a predetermined what best personality fits for that position. Now, a DISC test is not an IQ test. It is a personality test. And so every single position in a company requires a different personality style. So if we're looking for a personal assistant, let's say, then we want a high C. Now, everybody out there, if you haven't taken the DISC test, it's free. You should go take it for yourself. You'll learn a lot about yourself, then have your kids take it, then have your spouse take it. It's amazing. Learn as much as you can. You will learn how to deal with, not only on the real estate side, if you understand DISC tests and you can identify somebody's DISC quickly, when you're negotiating with a seller, you'll close more contracts and you'll make more money. So, but on the hiring side, let's say, for example, let's say we are hiring a front desk person. Now that front desk person is going to come in contact with the public. They're going to come in contact with people. They have to be nice, polite. They have to be, go out of their way to help. If you put a D personality, which is I took the test, I'm a 99% D. If you put my personality as a front desk reception person, it'll never work out. The customer's not going to be happy and I'm not going to be happy because I don't want to deal with people. An I personality loves people. They go out of their way. They get energized when they see people. Somebody walks through that front door. Now they're happy. They get to talk. They get to communicate. They get to see how that person's doing for the day. So every single position requires this. So we do that first, personality test first. Then it comes back. And then from there, we filter from there. So if we need a C personality and they're a D or an S or an I, and it doesn't work, we just simply, those people don't make it. So now we go back to the C and we have a list of questions we like to ask that person to further identify if they're, qualified. Now, if they're a virtual assistant and that personality requires them to be on the phone, we have to test their English. And so what happens in that case is Tony Robbins goes out, results come back, and immediately, once we find that, okay, we're looking for a DI personality, we send them an English test. There's a free English test you can send. Now they have to talk and speak into the computer, and it spits back out a report on what level of English they're at. And if they have, so we don't have to use our own judgment. We let a computer system tell us how good their communication skills in English is. And so now, if they're doing cold calling for us, and we want a very high level English speaker, now we have that. So now we've discovered the right personality. We've discovered their English is good. Now we go through and find out some more specific questions on what it is that we're looking for with that particular job. And then we hire the best of the best. That's literally our process. And it works. We usually hire the right person the first time. Not always, but most of the time.
Dude, I hope you guys that are watching this are really enjoying the shit out of this. I got a whole page full of notes already just from the last 5 minutes. If you love this stuff, smash the like button, guys. I don't care what app you're on. We're live right now on YouTube, Periscope, Facebook, the whole thing. So if you guys are watching and you're getting value out of what Matt's bringing right now, this is high level stuff. I mean, literally, I'm taking notes. I never even knew about the free English test, and I have a slew of VAs that work for us. That's a really cool takeaway.
Yeah, it's pretty cool too. It's pretty neat how the scale they give you and then what that means I'll send it to you, Joe. I'll send it over to you.
Yeah, I love that. So, and to add to that, so do you do the same process with salespeople? Because, salespeople, they're the ones that they're hot on the phone. They're great in person. They're great, one-on-one, but it's like you give them like hoops to jump through, go solve a problem, get online, do the DISC test. Is that the same type of process with your sales guys?
Yeah, we still do the same process there, but I typically don't want to train somebody to be a salesperson. So what we do is I say, tell me about, like, you had sales jobs in the past. Yeah, I was a car salesman. Yeah, I sold these products. I sold that. Well, tell me about how you did. How good of a salesperson were you? If I call your manager after we get off the phone, will your manager say, yeah, he was a top 10 performer? And a good salesperson says, yeah, I was in June of 2019, I was salesman of the month because I moved this many and nobody'd ever done that. Like they'll tell you, they'll sell you on why they're amazing. And if they don't have anything to talk about and they've never proven themselves and they've never risen to the top in the last company, I'm definitely not going to spend thousands of dollars on marketing, handing them leads that they're not going to close. So I like hiring salespeople that are already proven.
Yeah. Dude, that's a major takeaway too, because I think so many people do this especially in their real estate businesses. I'm sure this happens in all industries, but you see so many people spending all the time and effort building up the front end. The marketing's happening, the leads are coming in, the phones are ringing, and then boom, you put some dud in front of the phone and you're just pissing away all your leads. I mean, you see this all the time in the industry, man.
Yeah, it's like, dude, we send out thousands of pieces of marketing every single week. We spend money on that's real money going out the door. I want those leads. First of all, I don't want the leads wasted, so I'm throwing away the money, but I want to make money on those leads. So I want to make 5 or 10,000 on those closed contracts. So, or more. So, yeah, I mean, I take that stuff very, very seriously. And the other thing too, is that I'm not afraid to do, if I find the right person, is there's some good training out there that you can send your sales guys to sharpen their skills a little bit. And we do that as well on the sales side of things. So I'm not afraid to invest into anybody that I hire, because the more I invest in them, the more of a return that I'll get on the other side.
You mind sharing that? What do you send your guys to? Is it John Martinez training? Is it something? Is it Sandler sales? Like what kind of sales training?
So Steve Trang, he's got a sales program. Just literally sent one of my students over there just literally last week. He does the Sandler training, and they're really good at it. They've broken it down and really focus it into real estate, and they do a great job. So that's kind of where I've been sending them. Yeah.
Nice, man. So have things changed for you on the marketing side? COVID, it's seemingly, I have my hands in 7 or 8 different markets around the country, and I'm experiencing the same thing with a lot of my guys. It's, people have started to restrain. I'll figure out what to do with the house once this thing lightens up. Once COVID goes away, we'll make a decision. Are you guys seeing that in your market, and how are you overcoming it if you are?
Yeah. So we are, anytime you go from a high level down to a recessionary period, which is what we've done. I mean, whether the news says it or not, we're at 20% unemployment, right? I mean, there's people that are stressed, but what it is you're going to have people, you're planting seeds right now. So if you send out marketing and you talk to somebody that is not ready to sell, hey, I want to see what happens with COVID. I want to see, what's going to go on after shelter in place and all this stuff. They're not saying no. They're saying not right now. That's a seed. You almost never harvest in the same season that you plant. And so that's not a lost lead for us. If we can't convince that person to sell, that's no big deal. 75% of all our closed leads are on follow-ups. So that's just the first step. I mean, if I create an educational program and it's $2,000 and I send an email to a cold list that I've never sold to, nobody's going to buy that. I haven't done my part yet. I haven't built the relationship. You can't always build a relationship in one conversation. So it's no big deal. We will follow up with that person. And we set up a lot of automations in my company we use Podio, and we built out our own customized Podio system. And so we'll set up a follow-up, and we'll follow up with that person every 2-3 weeks until we buy their house. So that's one thing. We're patient. We're not in a hurry to rush deals. 2 things happen when you get in a hurry. One, the other person feels it. The other person feels you need them, right? I never operate. I always operate from a position of strength. So have more leads than you know what to do with, and then you don't have to worry about that. Plant a bunch of seeds and then harvest later. So that's one thing. Now, second thing is we do have to do deals. Like, we want to be closing all the time, but 75% of them are from follow-up. So what we're doing right now, one thing that's working really well is we RVM old leads, people we've already talked to, people we've already had conversations with. We've already made offers on their house, or we've talked to them in the past. Doesn't matter if it was 2 months ago, 5 months ago, 6 months ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, doesn't matter. We've RVM'd, and we're pulling a ton of leads from those. We talked to them 2 years ago. Hey, I don't want to sell my house, or hey, I want $100,000 for my house, and you offered 80,000, and I just can't get there. Now that person might be willing to sell. Secondly is this is really powerful. Now, I don't do any of the acquisitions in my company. I have somebody else that does all of that now. So, but I did all the acquisitions in 08, 09, 10, 11. Okay. Back then I was running appointments and I learned a ton I added 450 houses to my portfolio in a 4-year period. I was running some appointments. So what I learned is a lot of people I talked to in March, April, May of 2008, when I was in their house trying to buy their house, and they said, you know what, Matt, I know the market's down. I know the stock market's down. I know real estate's down, but it's only down 20%. Or they'll say, my real estate agent told me that the market's really not down. It's just a little quieter. It's a little slow right now. Many of the same conversations you hear right now. And I told the people, I'm like, yeah, but what if the market keeps falling? And they're like, no, my real estate agent told me it's not going to do that. And some of those people that chose not to sell me their house ended up going into foreclosure and losing it anyway. They could have made money. They could have made. So so one of the things is I'm teaching my acquisitions people to tell those stories. When we go to a lead and the person says, hey, I don't want to sell my house right now. I'm going to wait this thing out. And I say, you know what? You can do whatever you want, Mr. Seller, but let me tell you some stories about 2008. This is what happened to some of those people in March of 2008. By November, they were in foreclosure. So we tell those stories, and it helps people understand, listen, take the risk off of you, put it onto me. I'm the professional. I'll buy your house. I'm rolling the dice here. I could be wrong. What if the market does keep crashing? What if I can't fix this thing up in time, list it and resell it? You know, that's on me. I'm giving you an option. You've experienced 10 years of straight up growth. You've got an opportunity to cash out now, or just roll the dice. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe in 6 months it works out for you. That's all we do.
Powerful. It's powerful. It's powerful, man. I mean, one of my friends, Dana Spain, just hopped in here. Dana, what's up? She said that, basically, if you get to know, you're asking the question wrong. She's saying the same thing I've been saying for weeks. We have to re-engineer the conversation, right? The conversation you were having a year ago to buy that property is not the same conversation you're going to have now. It's just not. I mean, the times are different. Stuff was so easy 3 months ago, 6 months ago, right? Excuse me. In a hot market, everybody looks like a genius. You can go out there, you can buy a property, you can fuck up 10 ways from Sunday, and you can still sell it and make money. And it just doesn't happen now, right? You have to be smarter. You have to make better conversations happen. You have to re-engineer. I also love the follow-up piece, man. We've been doing that as well. I love it. You can go back, figure out anyone you've had a conversation with, touch them again. The follow-up, that's where it's going to happen right now. So it's so important that you have some sort of basic, and I always put an asterisk next to this. Don't get over your head. Don't get some crazy, spend the next 3 months building a CRM, but some basic follow-up, right? Automatic text, automatic email campaigns. If you got RVM built in, that's great, but find a way to touch people multiple times, because we know that it takes that multiple times to close them, right?
It does. And it's a process. Like, Joe, I can guarantee you, somebody hands you a cold lead, you're going to close it because you're good. Like you're amazing at what you do. You've gotten to a point where you're at, and I can do some of the same exact stuff. The thing is, it's not about us. It's right. You get to a point where we want to build the organization. I don't know about you, Joe, but I get older, I get lazier. I want to do less and less. Right? I love watching people grow, and I love watching my team get better. So it's all about me showing these guys. So the cool part is, whether it's one of your students or one of my students or whatever it is, it's no different than if there are student or somebody working for us now, or we're partnered with, that are doing some deals. We're teaching them the same thing, right? It's the same strategy. And the cool thing is you don't have to be an expert negotiator like, say, we are. We've done thousands of deals. You can just use these, just like, it's real simple, guys. Be patient, build relationships, be there to help, be there for their benefit, and watch how much money you make. It's crazy.
It's more fun to watch them win than it is for us to succeed sometimes. I mean, there's leverage there. You got multiple people doing it, but when your sales guys win, when they close deals, when your partners win, when they close deals, it's more exciting that way. I don't know. I feel that way too.
Yeah.
Man, I'd love to rap about this for another half an hour, brother, but we're approaching our time here. I want to be respectful of your schedule. Anything I missed, anything we forgot to ask or talk about, or you want to add in? I know there's some places where people can go out, reach out to you and find some of your products as well, if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, if anyone wants to find me, just find me on Instagram. It's the easiest thing. Real Estate Matt is my handle. Just find me there. If you guys have any questions, you can always hit me up. I actually answer any messages that I get there. But just search around. I'm always trying to help, trying to add value.
Love it, man. Love it, man. If you guys find value in the video today, which I think was a rock star interview, Matt put it all out on the table. Just make sure you share it with your friends. Make sure you share it with people that might find value in this video as well. That's why we're doing this thing. Keep everybody moving during this slow time and progressing so that you come out the back end of this thing on top. So, Matt Larson, I appreciate you being here, brother.
Hey, it's fun, man. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. Talk to you soon.
All right. We'll see you.